I'm not so sure that I can stay high above these clouds with you. I'm not sure where.
For sunscreen number 1, let's start with Lotus sunscreen. I have used this for the longest time in my life, to be true. It didn't give me any breakout during my teenage years. It was a safe sunscreen and it suits oily and combination skin. And this is the texture, it gets easily absorbed in the skin. But yes, there are much better options available nowadays in the market. So yes, this is not my recommendation, but yes, I still love it. Coming to the second sunscreen is this 360-degree sunscreen, and it has a mixture of titanium dioxide and all other chemical ingredients. For the sunscreen, it is safe, it didn't clog my pores, it didn't give me any breakout. It is slightly on the expensive side, and as it doesn't have fragrance, it smells a bit chemical in composition, but otherwise yes, this sunscreen was a good sunscreen. Well, the third sunscreen is UV Dog sunscreen. It didn't give me any breakouts and it has a slight bit of fragrance, and it also contains oxybenzone. So yes, I have found better options with me, so I won't recommend this sunscreen, but yes, it was a good sunscreen overall. But as it contains oxybenzone, I am not recommending. Again, it's a personal opinion. If you are fine with oxybenzone, you can definitely go for this one. The next sunscreen in my list is the reequil sheer zinc sunscreen. Now, as I have already mentioned in my earlier videos, this has a tint which I didn't like and which doesn't suit all skin types, but this is one of the safest sunscreen with zinc oxide and no other like fragrance or any other ingredient which is irritating. So if you have sensitive skin, I think you can definitely go for this one. Next one is the La Shield Fisico sunscreen, and it did clog my pores. It's a purely mineral sunscreen. However, it suits only dry skin and aging skin type. I won't absolutely recommend for other skin types at all who tend to get acne. This is very greasy and it does clog your pores. The next sunscreen is the Bello photostable sunscreen. Now, it is one of the best sunscreen if you have dry to combination skin. However, if you have oily skin, this might break you out. This is a purely chemical sunscreen. It doesn't have any controversial ingredient, and I like the texture and consistency. However, yeah, avoid it if you are oily skin type. The next sunscreen in my list is the vlcc sunscreen. Now, obviously it is affordable and it has benzophenone, and I don't like that ingredient. I didn't like the texture of the sunscreen, and yes, it did broke me out when I applied on my skin, and yes, I am not very comfortable with this sunscreen. The next sunscreen which I have is the Suncros tint sunscreen. It is a purely mineral sunscreen and it is fortified with iron oxide, so it gives a tint, the reddish colored tint, but it has a horrible white cast. However, it is very water resistant, so it is great for players who stay outside for a longer amount of time and yet sweat and they don't have the chance to reapply their sunscreen. I think this is perfect for them. However, it didn't ever broke me out or clog my pores, so yes. Now, the next sunscreen which I have is Bioderma. Now, this is absolutely suitable for people who are aging and who has a lot of melasma and freckles and sunspots, because this has a very high UVA coverage, and so it helps you protect from those wrinkles and age spots. And this is a very good sunscreen which is well tested. However, it might not be suitable for all skin types. Some people are sensitive towards it. For me, it did work out very well. However, yeah, be careful if you have a sensitive skin, and it does have a little bit of white cast. Well, the next sunscreen is sunmate sunscreen. Now, this has a very good boot star rating of 5 star, and it will suit extremely dry skin because it is extremely greasy, oily, and it broke me out. It has all chemical ingredients chemical sunscreen ingredients, and yes, it is a well tested sunscreen obviously, but I won't recommend for any of you. Now the next sunscreen is Lakme Sun Expert Ultra Matte Sunscreen. It has all good ingredients and it is very affordable. However, it has fragrance, so I absolutely would recommend this for the body. If your hands are exposed to the sun for a longer amount of time, I do absolutely will ask you to go for this sunscreen for the body. But for the face, it did break me out, and yeah, it might not be suitable for oily skin people. Well, the next one is Nivea Sun Protect SPF 30 sunscreen. It is very affordable, provides a very good protection because it is highly tested, but it has benzophenone and I don't like that benzophenone compound. Moreover, it has fragrance and denatured alcohol, and when I applied it onto my face, it was very sticky, so I am just like applying it on my body and finishing it off, but otherwise I won't be repurchasing it for sure. Now the next sunscreen is Facegaurd SPF 50 plus sunscreen. Now this is one of the favorite sunscreen for oily skin and combination skin. It never broke me out. It has fragrance at the end of the list, so I think that's fine, and it doesn't have benzophenone, and it has a good protection. I have confirmed it from their company and it is highly recommended by doctors. So yeah, I will highly recommend this if you have a oily acne prone skin. Well, the last sunscreen but not the least obviously is the photostable gold sunscreen. I am currently testing it and I still have a long way to go because I need to test it for minimum duration of 2 to 3 weeks before coming to a conclusion. And yes, I like it so far. It is good for oily skin types. It doesn't give any breakout. Till now it has not, and it is not greasy. It has a silicone texture like the Faceguard one, and I am loving it until now. So I hope you found this video useful and you can choose your sunscreen according to your skin type, and obviously I'll be coming up with more such sunscreen videos in the future, and I'll be trying out different other sunscreens also. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And I'll be seeing you in my next video. So till then, bye.